Today we ran our electrical for the whole module, and we started a little bit of plumbing. We weren't able to really start. We just got all of our materials gathered because they were still deciding what to do, and we also got our all threads in and fastened.
Jasper, anything you needed to relearn?
Yeah, just how to cut the all thread and make sure you screw off your nut. To make sure the threads are good for when we go to move them.
On one of my outlets, when there was 3 12-2s running to it, I accidentally pigtailed all of them instead of using a wire nut to extend it because I forgot. Corey told me what to do, but I forgot. I was thinking of something else, but we were able to fix that. Ask multiple times, even if it's annoying.
One mistake that I made was I started stapling the cable, the Romex, sorry, to the exhaust fan before the wiring was hooked up, and so I just had to retake out some staples. It's better to work backwards from the fixture.
Something that helped us was Jasper was putting in the exhaust fan with Corey, or when he'd have questions, he'd ask Corey while I was throwing the electrical wires in, because you don't really need two people for that. So that killed two birds with one stone, because at the end of it, we were able to meet up and put our all threads in.
One thing Isaiah was doing as he was putting in the Romex throughout the house was just running it to the box, leaving extra room, but not putting, you just leave it as is, and then you run everything, and then you can make up your boxes as you're stapling and stuff. So today, for running our Romex through our house, we're going to need, obviously, Romex. You're going to need staples. You're going to need your finishing hammer. To make up your boxes, you're going to need your wire cutters, linements, whatever these ones are. In case you forgot to drill any holes, you need the flex with a bit. For your all thread, you're going to need your wrench, this long socket thingy, a grinder, protection, and then your drill is for installing your exhaust fan, and then a nail gun for adding any blocking.
Today we're gonna run our wiring for the house and install all of our PEX. We should be able to get it all done today because the wiring's not anywhere close to what it is for the last house. We just had to tidy up our boxes, make sure we had enough stick out, and now we're getting ready to run some wire.
Cool, so I'm starting to assemble the bathroom exhaust fan. The first thing you need to do is take out this wiring panel and the actual fan itself so that you can install this damper duct thingy from the inside. And then you're going to put a screw from the inside as well. And then the next thing is there's this flange that snaps on from the bottom. And then I think the next step is we're going to mount it on the ceiling where it goes.
Yeah, we're starting to run our wire. This is 12-2, and this is what we're going to run for all of our outlets. So we're going to leave it a little bit further away from your build, so when you pull, it gives it time to unroll and unkink. And so we're going to start and come through this hole all the way down to this outlet, loop it around, and stick about a foot out. And then you can come back to this side, because it hasn't been cut yet, and cut it with some extra slack. And then you're going to do the same thing and start here, loop it all the way to that outlet, leave slack. You want to leave a lot of slack because you still need some wiggle room. And we're going to finish out for these 3 outlets. And once this is done, we're going to take our spool from from this hole, we're gonna run it up through the glue lamp, across, and drop it down to this outlet. And then we're gonna come back up across the eye joist, down through the glue lamp. Now we need to run over our sliding door and come back down to this outlet. And from here, we're gonna go up to our glue lamp, over our butt wall, and exit right here where our junction box is gonna be. And we're just gonna leave it hanging about 4 feet to give us room to staple to the side and connect our junction box. Right now I'm rerunning this wire because I had it in this bay, but we're gonna have so many wires here already because we'll have 2 going in per box. So Corey said just move it over to the next bay because this wire will just confuse me when we go to make up the boxes.
Jay, your wire's all twisted. Now's the time to take your opportunity and straighten that wire. Because I see a lot of this going on. The wire all twisted up. Yeah. And that doesn't look very appealing. So now before you put anything in the hole or once you drop it out, go ahead and fix all your twists. And it's real simple. Just pull your hand on it and just hold it and just pull it down and it'll straighten out. Now doesn't it?
Why is it important to do that, Corey? Why is it important to do that?
It's just that, one, you're not twisting your wires. Once you go to staple it, you're not going to compress those 2 wires together if they were rolled over. Now, if they were rolled over and you go to put a staple on there, that's against code. 2, you want your wire to lay nice and flat because it just looks cleaner. It gives it a nice clean look, and it's a little bit easier to staple. So now you got it pulled down. So you see how you're pulled off of here.
But I can run this one down through this hole, right?
Yes.
Or do you want me to just?
Yeah, go ahead and keep pulling that one down because you're still on the spool on that one. Yeah. So go ahead and pull it down to where you need to go. Leave a little bit of slack and then backtrack and make sure your wire's all straight, not twisted around. The first thing I'm going to look at is how they're stapled. You want to make sure your stapled is straight into. We don't have any stapled right now, but you want to make sure, like when your wire's going into your box, you want nice clean corners to where it's going to go into the box and just make it look presentable. You know, nice and straight. You don't want to see where the wire's kind of all twisted up and just, you know, where it's kind of just ugly. You know, one, it's harder to staple that way, and you want to give a nice and clear appearance, so when the inspector comes and looks at it, he's not going to start picking it apart. He's going to look at it and just move on.
Cool, so this is a bathroom exhaust fan part 2. You're going to need a piece of 3/4 inch plywood ripped down to like fit in this space in the eye joist right here. Just measure it, rip it down, attach it here, because then we're going to mount our exhaust fan directly onto this. You're going to have your vent sticking out this way. It's going to come over here and go up out the roof this way. And then you can also take a piece, as you're mounting it, you can take a piece of scrap drywall just to figure out exactly where it's going to get mounted. And then just screw it in.
So right now we're running, we're finishing up our 12-2 circuit. That's for our outlets. And all that's left to do is just run it out to this junction box. But one tip Corey gave me that really helps is if you know that you're going to come in and out of the same hole, just buddy the wires up together, hold them together, and throw them through the hole at the same time. Like, for example, this wire is coming from that outlet, so it has to come down, and I need something coming back up. So instead of trying to fight this hole twice, I'm going to put them together and come through once, and I'll just end up cutting it up here when I finished that circuit. So that really helped, especially running it through the I-joist, because I knew I needed a 14.3 and a 12.2 for my three-way and for my outlets. So I held them together and I just pulled two of them through at once. And then when you got to the point they separated, then you just work each wire. But it's easier than fighting it through a hole and having to backtrack.
Let me get you another piece. So figuring out how many pieces in that corner.
Okay, so to finish up the blocking for our fan, we need to have it attached at 3 points. So we've got our first attachment here on the side of the I-joist, attached to this 3/4 ply or OSB. We're gonna do 2 more pieces of blocking. One is gonna run along here with another piece of 3/4 right here. And then we're gonna run this one right here between this and the glue lamp, right on the side of it. And that way it'll be able to attach to 3 points.
Into here, back out. We'll do it so out that hole through the I-joist, down into there, back out. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna feed that and we're gonna feed this. So this, since this is gonna head out, just come up, over, and then back down. It's easy, don't think about it.
And then this,
See how crooked you're on that?
So we got done with our three-way switch. We have our 14.3, that's for our three-way. Now we have our 14.2, and that's our power. And after that, we need to run both of these are 14.2 wires coming to this 3-leg switch. So the first wire is going to come from this switch to the ceiling fan box, and you're just going to drape it there. So that's the first wire. And the second wire and the last switch we need is to control our outside light. And since we haven't sheathed and we don't have our pancake box up yet, what we're going to do is we're still going to have that wire there so we can complete our electric. We're just going to coil it up and leave some slack at the top just like this. And then we're just going to drape those wires down, hook them there, and then they're ready to be stapled. So when it comes to wiring our bathroom and shower area, we're going to throw our home run going out the unit, and it's going to come through the I-joist and drop down to this 2-gang box. So this is going to be our hot wire. Now to get power to that switch, we're going to run another 14.2 wire, connect them in this box, and it's going to come up through our ceiling, run across our I-joist and glue lamp down to that box. And now that'll provide power for our fan, our hall light, and all things that run off that switch. And from this switch, we're throwing another 14.2. It's going to come up along this, shoot across, and this is for the light over our vanity. And the last thing to cover is our GFIs, our exterior GFIs, and our countertop GFI. And for this is getting its own circuit, so it's just a straight 1 wire from this GFI all the way across through the rafters out. That's its own breaker. And for our exterior GFIs, we're running a home run through our glue lamp along the side, and it's going to come up and drop down right where we drill our hole for our GFI, and we're going to leave wires stubbing out. And now to connect all the GFIs together, we need a wire from this GFI all the way to the next one, so that's why there's 2. So we're going to take another one, come all the way up through the rafters, and drop straight down to where this GFI would be. And now we're just going to staple it off and stick it out so we have enough wire when we put them on after we sheathe. So I'm throwing on bang plates right now, and the way to do it is you need to set one side in first and then drop your other side in. Because if you hammer back and forth, it'll create a bow, and it'll make your drywall stick out. So I'm gonna set one side in first. So that side's in. Now I'm gonna come back and tap the bottom. Have maybe one tap in the middle, and now that's all you need. You don't need to put nails in them. Yeah, so these holes are supposed to be drilled in the middle to prevent any screws from getting to them. And the screws we're using are 1 3/8. So if you eyeball it and you can tell that this hole or the wire's not 1 3/8 back, I'd just be safe and throw a bang plate on it, just so you don't have to tear all your drywall out and rerun wires.
So we are going to wire up this fan here. And if you notice, this fan comes with a light and a motor, a fan motor in it that's put together. So what we're going to do, we're just going to kind of pre-wire this thing so we can get this set up inside the box. So I'm going to show you now. So one of these, so this one is for your fan, this one is for your light. It says we're only running one switch to the fan. What we're going to do is we're going to take the grounds and tie them in together, your hots, tie them in together, and your neutrals, tie them in together. So all these are just going to get tied in just like this. So it's going to be under one switch. Now this does have the capability to be ran separate, but we're just going to wire them together for now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to show you how to assemble it outside the box, and then we'll show you how to put everything inside the box. So this is how you're going to wire it inside the box. Don't lose that one. So now we're going to take it apart and put it inside the box. So we're gonna take our little pigtail that we made up here, and we are going to set it inside. So there's a little lever or a little slot that this tab's going to fit into. And then it just kind of closes on itself. And then you're going to have a single screw that's going to hold that together. So we'll get that in there. If I can find it. Just tighten that down. So now that's going to hold our strain relief from that wire being able to be pulled out of that box. So now underneath, we're going to attach our wires again. So now since we have this wired up, we're going to take our solid wire and just kind of fold them back up to the string relief. And this is going to slide up inside the box here. And this is going to act like a junction box inside our fan box. So there will be a little tab that clicks in, and there you go. Now you have your power source for your exhaust fan. So now we have our wire coming out of our string relief. So here we're just going to kind of pull back the slack a little bit. And we just want to do just a nice, gentle loop, what they call a service loop. So if you ever have to take this out, you can pull it down inside of it. And we're just going to just throw a staple, 2 staples here and here, just to secure it, just secure it down. So we are going to make up our fan and light switch box here in the bathroom. So we're just going to kind of show you on the way to make it up. So we got everything already placed in line inside the box here. We got it all stripped for you. So we did crimp our bottom so we know which ones are our switch legs. So immediately we're just going to put a loop in our switch legs so we know. And the one thing about that we writ down on the bottom, on the floor down here, is now these guys stuck their switch legs on the outside of the boxes, one here and the fan switch on the outside. So we know that these are your switch legs. So the center ones are power. So if you ever did cut off the bottom of the wire, we would still know and identify what wires are what. So now we know this is our fan. This is our light. We're going to move everything out of the way except for our grounds. We're going to start with, you always start with your grounds. Always make up your grounds first. So we're going to get all these moved out of the way. And now we have our grounds left. Now since we have four grounds and we have 2 devices, we are just going to kind of twist these up real quick. Tie them into each other. Just like normal. And now since we have 2 devices, we're going to remove 2 of your grounds. So now we have 2 grounds left. Now we're going to take our Buchanan, slide it up over everything, right over our cut, and crimp it down. So now that's going to hold our ground nice and secure. We're going to take our grounds, push them to the back of the box, and then fold them up out of the way. So now our grounds are taken care of. So now, since this is a light switch, we do not do anything with our neutrals. Our neutrals are just passing through this box. So we are going to take our neutrals. We're going to cut them all to the same length. And then we are going to strip them down so we can tie them all together. And since we got them all stripped down, get a nice tight twist. And I like to take my cutter and cut a 45 into the wire. And what that does is that helps the wire nut accept the wires, because you're going to start at a smaller point and then get fatter with the wires. So this will help the wire nut get a good bite on your wires. And you will always want to twist your wires clockwise, because obviously everything is going to twist to the right. So now we're going to take these and just fold these neatly in the back of the box. And we are not going to disturb those anymore. So now what we have left is our switch leg, our light switch leg, our fan switch leg, and our 2 powers. Now, since we have 2 powers, we have to feed each one of these devices. So we're going to tie these together, but we're also going to tie in 2 pigtails to feed each one of the devices. So we're going to strip these down. Forgive me, my wire stripper's a little old. So now we're going to take our feed, which is pretty much, this is our first stop in our circuit. So one of them is our home run, and one of them is passing through to the next outlet in the inline of the circuit. So we're going to take all these and twist all these to get nice and neat together. And then the reason why we twist these together, if you just took all 4 of those wires and put them underneath the wire cap, one of them could wiggle out over time. So we twist them up together just to make sure they stay put. So now we're going to take our feed in, feed out, and now we branched off to where we can feed both of our devices now. So we're going to tuck those in the back of the box, nice and neat. And then we're going to split our feeds with our switch legs. And we're just going to do just a gentle twist together. So now we have our switch legs and our feeds twisted together. We're just going to cut off the access. And now we are just going to tuck them nice and neat into each position that they should go in. And you're going to want to fold them. You want to put your primary of your wire in the back of the box, just so they don't get hit by a rotozip or a screw or anything like that. So now when you come to do your trim, you can just pull out your switch legs. So we're going to set those up just like that, and that's how you make up a 2-gain box.
So we're starting to put our all thread in. The way we're doing it is Isaiah's climbing up on the ladder, bringing it down from the top, and I'm just guiding it in the hole. We're going to make sure that we, before we cut it off, we screw on our nut so that we're not messing up the threads. And after we cut it, we can unthread it in case there's any imperfections after the cut.
So right here, he's lighting it in, right?
Yeah.
What goes into this process?
Once we get them in, we'll make sure we have enough space.
So this box was pretty much like what we just did with the 2-gain. This one's obviously a 3-gain box, but this one's got a 3-way in it. So we're just gonna, real quick, we're just gonna separate our wires. Like I said, always start with our grounds. And we are just going to move this right out of the way.
Cool. And you got a nut on all those? You're hired.
So with this one, we're still just going to take all of our neutrals and tie them together and bury them in the back of the box. So we got 4 neutrals. We got 3 from each switch leg and 1 from your home run or your continuation from the pass box. So we're going to just strip all these down.
Clockwise, right?
Always clockwise. And one thing is when you get these done, you get these tied up, just make sure there's no copper showing below your wire nut because that could touch the ground and short out. So you want to make sure all your copper is up inside the wire nut. All right. So since we have 3 devices and this is the end of our circuit, we only have 1 wire. So we need to come off of this with, take this 1 and turn it into 3. So now we have our 3 pigtails. We're going to strip our ends. Strip our home run. I guess I shouldn't call it a home run. It's just a jumper from the pass box. What we did is we took our power and turned it into 3 powers. So now we're going to take this and just fold this neatly into the back of our box. And then feed our switch legs. Just a gentle twist around. Now this is our three-way, so we're feeding our 3-way here. So these are your 3-way travelers, this black and yellow that are paired, and we are going to take our power and we are going to wrap around our travelers, identifying that's a 3-way. So these ones get folded differently than your normal switch. Let's trim these guys down. And then we are going to fold these neatly into the box. And that's how you do a 3-gain box with a 3-way. So let's go over to the other end of this 3-way, and I'll explain how to make up the other end. So here is the other end of our 3-way. So what we have here is the wire, the 14-3 that's coming from our 3-gain, and this is our switch loop. So this actually goes up to the light. So what we're going to do is obviously connect your ground. Go ahead and tuck it in the back of the box. We'll get rid of it into the box. Now we're going to take our neutral. So we're picking up the neutral from that 3-gain, and we're bringing the neutral over here. And all we're going to do is just cap it and put it in the back of the box. We're going to connect the neutral and send the neutral up to the light, so the light has a neutral. So to do that, we're just going to twist these guys together underneath a wire nut. And then we're just going to cap and bury into the back of the box. Okay, so now we have our travelers and our switch leg that's left. So now we're going to take our switch leg and just wrap it around our travelers coming from the 3-gain box. And this, the wires that's wrapped around your travelers, that's going to go to the black screw on your device. The other 2 travelers are going to go to the gold screw, and it doesn't matter which ones they go to. So this one is the one that we are identifying to put on the black common screw on your 3-way switch. And then all we're going to do is pretty much just roll it up and push it into the box, nice and neat. So we're looking at this. The code says you have to be within 6 inches of the boxes. I prefer to be a little bit closer. So we're going to have them throw a screw right there because that's still pretty loose. One of the boxes they did not make up, so we'll have them make that up and get that tucked away. One thing I did notice is they put their light in. Oh, that one doesn't. So normally there would be a ground screw that would be sitting right here. All you would do is just take your ground screw, wrap it around that screw, and move it on. But this box does not have it, so we're not going to worry about it this time. Wire sticking out of the box. Just be a little bit neater, and make sure they're tucked in inside the box, nice and neat. You don't want anything protruding or hanging out. When the drywallers come, they can get cut. They can get cut off and shorten your wires. So you want to make sure that they're nice and neat down inside the box. The stapling looks good. It's nice and close to the box. The wires are still movable underneath the staple. That's a plus. You don't want to smash them down. This one, they got a little too tight. We'll have them loosen that one up. And what that causes is it actually presses down both the wires and could cause a short on that. I am really impressed with the way that they ran the wires. The wires are nice and neat. They're straight, nice and uniform, and that's what we're looking for. I don't want to see a bunch of wires that are twisted around, because then if you start stapling them on the side, that's against code, and it just looks bad. It looks bad for your work. Going around, they've already nail plate, so they got a little close when they drilled the hole, so they already got their nail plates on. That looks good. The boxes are nice and neat. The wires are inside the box. One thing I do want to point out, so they came around this edge right here and went to the further side where the box is. We can bring your wire this way, and you are allowed to, with black tape, tape it to the strut and go inside the box instead of running all the way around. So that can shorten the length of the wire by a little bit, and that is allowable. Other than that, everything looks pretty good. They did an awesome job this time.